A PE teacher has asked the goalkeeper and central midfielder of the school football team to take part in some altitude training. Discuss whether you agree or disagree with this decision, and this is a 6 mark question. As with all 6 markers, we can get a maximum of 1 mark for AO1, a maximum of 2 marks for AO2, and a maximum of 3 marks for AO3. So for our AO1, we need to show a knowledge of altitude training. So we just need to say what altitude training is in a very simple way. So we could say that altitude training is a form of aerobic training, or you might simply say that altitude training can improve cardiovascular fitness. For AO2, we need to explain a bit more about altitude training and why people use it. So we could say that performers train at high altitude because there is less oxygen in the air. You might say that this means that the body compensates by creating more red blood cells. So we're saying what happens as a result of altitude training. And this can be beneficial when returning to exercise at a lower altitude, as it's going to end up improving performance. You might also discuss some specific athletes who may take part in altitude training, such as long distance runners or long distance cyclists. But remember, you can get a maximum of 2 marks for AO2. For our 3 evaluation marks, we need to now start discussing altitude training and its importance to a midfielder or goalkeeper in football, as outlined in the question. So we could say that the goalkeeper is going to get little benefit from altitude training, as they do not require good aerobic fitness during a match. Because obviously a goalkeeper is doing less running and less aerobic work than the other players. So altitude training is not going to be much of a benefit. The midfielder would get some benefit from altitude training, as they do require good aerobic fitness, as they must run for long periods during a match without being given time for recovery. However, the midfielder also requires good anaerobic fitness, so you might go down the line of discussing how anaerobic and aerobic fitness is required in football. Altitude training can cause sickness, and this may hinder the improvement in fitness for performers. So this is a really good one. So as part of evaluation, we all want to always can look at the limitations as well as the strengths of something. So in this case, we can look at a weakness of altitude training, which is it can cause sickness. And finally, you could say that both players would also need to be working on specific skills, or you could also link to other types of fitness that are required for their positions.